All right. Thank you so much, Yolanda, Xing, for coming. It's great to have you. Toilet Game Studies covers games that feature toilets, but it's also interested in games that are designed to be played whilst on the toilet. And that's why I thought Scarab was a great choice to interview, and I'm glad you're on the interview. So I guess first off, the big question in the room is what inspired you to make a poop tracking game? Were the existing poop tracking apps not gamified, social, or engaging enough for your taste?
It came from a very feminist view because I've always tracked my period with the Apple Health app. And often when women had their period, their poo will get very watery. It's almost like a diarrhea. And I feel like it's should be recorded somewhere. And when I see all the categories in Apple Health, it has everything from the amount of water you drink to even the time you wash your hand. It has all that very detailed categories, but it doesn't have a section for poo. And so I found that to be very surprising. And so why not just make it for myself?
No, I'm glad you did. I think it's really special. And I think what's interesting about this app, as opposed to any other tracker app, is that poo science, when I think about it, is usually more framed in tracking animals, identifying animals' tracks based off of scat. So when I see it applied to humans, I wonder what's the scientific or medical basis of this science. During the onboarding of the app, they have you describe your poo, both in shape and color, as well as a few other identifying factors. And I'm just curious where you did your research, where you pulled all that info from, and what were you using to crunch the numbers. Mainly, what does a person's poop say about them? And is it a perfect science? Just how much information can be mined from your poop? And if you've had any data brokers approach you about buying your user data.
Yes, that's a great question. From the early stage of the app, we know that we're gonna gamify it. And the best way to gamify a poo tracking is to make sure that they track their poo every day. And with more research in that, we figured out that it is healthy for a person to have up to three poo a day or one poo 3 day. So it's all considered healthy. So it felt wrong that if we penalize the user for not pooping on a day and not able to save a streak. And so we decided to shift the scientific part of the poo into a more rhythm tracking. It's more important to have your poo consistently. If you have your poo every morning or every time before you go to bed. And so having that rhythm is more important than how much poo you actually do on a daily basis, if that makes sense. The gamified part was about rolling balls and stealing shit balls from your friends.
And has anyone approached you, like third party wise, to acquire your user data, the data on your users' poops, be it
No,
a
no, no. Yeah, we're at an early stage. We were thinking about having models that allows users to take a photo of the poo and then we can analyze it. But then we figured out it was actually more difficult than it sounds because a user have to face the reality of what their poo looks like in their camera. That might be a burden. I made the app so cute. It's for people to forget about the disgusting part of a poo, just wanted the cuteness of it. Having a user take a picture of the real poo seems a bit extra. And also, there is no good existing free model out there that enable us to do it. That's why we don't have the capture pool data. Yeah.
so there's no like free models of Hugging Face or anything for computer vision for poop tracking, but is there any paid ones that you've seen?
Paid one, yes. And but still it's very hard because when you're on the toilet, the poo will get covered by toilet papers. And so the accuracy is to be determined.
True, true. So that's something that you would have to probably tutorialize your users on beforehand. Yeah. In recent news, the whole Taco Bell lettuce diarrhea fiasco with the parasite that gives people really explosive, really frequent diarrhea.
Mhm.
With your users, did you kind of see a trend ahead of time? Like, are you able to have so much data on people's poos that you actually can see trends in poo? as time goes by, like on a
Oh,
global scale?
that's a great question. Wow. No, because we don't have that much data yet. The app is very newly made, so we're still in the marketing era to promote the app. So no, we don't have enough data on that yet.
Speaking of being a new app, do you find people subscribing to Pro? Do you have a loyal user base? And if so, for the ones who do subscribe, what compels them the most, you'd say? What makes a whale or power user for a poo tracking app, a poo tracking game specifically?
I haven't checked the stats into it yet. The app is really up in the App Store for like less than a week, and we barely do any advertisement on it. But I do have friends who say that they would love to pay pro for this app, and I think it's a lot of the personal support that they have on me, and also the gamified part of the pool. Yeah.
Interesting. In terms of that gamification, I think most of it revolves around your relationship, not necessarily your poo, but your relationship with the app itself in terms of a relationship that you build between you and this characterized beetle, the scarab. I mean, you get to name it, you get to adopt it, and then you get to talk to it in a little chat window. And the dialogue is written in a way that's very cutesy and honestly really well executed. I think maybe the reason is pooping is so personal and so intimate that perhaps this was an intentional design choice to make players more comfortable sharing their poop details because at least they're sharing it with something or someone that you trust and that you feel comfortable with. Was that the reasoning behind it, or was there another reason why you decided to add a chat feature to the onboarding experience?
Yes, the chat feature is to make onboarding more smooth and less time consuming because when it comes to a lot of health app, it would ask you a lot of questions from like your name, your gender to your habits, and it can easily bored user out. And so having this little cute dumb beetle that asks you this and that, it makes the user more engaged and more like talking to a creature rather than talking to a phone and giving all my information away.
So you would give your information away to a mascot, but not just a faceless app, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess one thing I'm kind of curious about is during the onboarding as well, the game prompts the user to describe the work referring to poo. What are your thoughts on pooping as a form of labor? And can poop also be a form of love or something else? Are there plans for the app in the future to characterize poop in different ways, especially with social functions?
Yes, definitely. We found that couples really loved our app, and it is a loving language post for them to talk about their poo. Having an app that opens up the conversation between them is like having the icebreaker for couples to open up themselves to each other.
Do you ever plan on, if this app gets successful enough, maybe selling an actual piece of hardware that attaches to a bathroom, like a toilet seat, and weighs the user before and after their movement to track the color and the shape while poop happens before wipe, so that it's all automated? Is that something that you think would improve the app, or is the act of recording and jotting down and journaling your poops in itself the exercise that you think is good for this experience?
That is a good one because that was my initial thought when it comes to poo tracking. I was thinking to maybe start on Kickstarter having a sensor attached to the toilet that tracks everything. But then I decided not to do it because it is too much into the details for an average user to be able to know so many things about their poo. And for stats like color, we could obviously see it with our eye. We could eyeball it because we know what a poo normally looks colored like. And for stats like weight, it is really less important for a person to know exactly what their poo weighs. It's more about if they could feel that the poo they had, is it more than usual or less than usual or the same as usual. So if you see our app and once you log it, there is a log for the size of the poo, and we will never say small, medium, large. We have it as medium, little, or erotic. Medium as in is your usual dump. So that makes the experience more personal because it feels less of tracking all the stats behind your poo, but more is it something that had changed.
So I know that the Scarab offers a lot of insights. Is that something that is more rules based and state based? Or is it something that's a little bit more AI ingested?
The free version is rule-based, and the pro version will have a cross-left lifestyle check for you. And for that one, later on, we're gonna ask permission for your health record on other apps to see if there's any intersection going up there, and those will be AI analyzed.
And do you think this app eventually will enter into the medical territory that'll be used for nurses and doctors giving to their patients? Tracking poops is very real, especially post-surgery. So, especially if it's a bowel surgery or something. Or is this going to be more on the fun side of like entertainment and mindfulness? I know that there is a disclaimer that this isn't completely medical
Yep.
certified by any party, but would you hope for it to be in the future?
No, I'll keep it more gamified and more entertainment among friends. Yeah. Medical, it'll be a totally different area. You can't have an app that say to the user that, oh, you could use this for medical. That is against some rules in the States. So I'll keep it gamified.
What was the inspiration for stealing other people's poop? Like, where did that idea come from? Was that before or after the ball rolling?
It happened at the same time. Me and my team pretty much had the idea of the app done in one day. And the stealing ball mechanism is not new. It is a very viral thing to do back 2008, where it was throughout the Chinese internet of having your own little farm and you plant your food and your friends can steal or help you grow your virtual garden.
So, do you say that you're pretty well attuned to internet Chinese culture on Weixin or QQ? And is there any intersections for pooping in particular for Chinese culture and pooping on the internet right now?
Right now, no, no. Yeah, inspiration was from it's called 偷菜 in Chinese internet history. Yeah, it was a pretty big social movement even. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm just kind of curious about the development of Scarab. You mentioned you had team members who's worked on it. How long did it take to get to this point, and what were some challenges?
It was me and a partner. It's a friends project, and we built this up in a month. Mostly be me designing and my friend coding it. A lot of the challenges is on the feedback loop for users because again, we don't want the app to feel penalized because who is so personal. We don't want anyone who would criticize on someone's habit. And so we take extra care to make sure that anyone can enjoy this app no matter if they didn't poo enough. And we're afraid that having that emotion in it will make them fake their data just for getting more balls. It needs a balance between having it to be a real tracking app and having the gamification that doesn't ruin the tracking purpose.
So the challenge essentially is more of a balancing issue. It's more trying to stop people from abusing the honor system and diarrhea maxing.
Yep.
All right. Are there any other future updates planned or bathroom related projects going forward? Are you very passionate about poop holistically, or is it just for this specific project that you wanted to explore that?
Yes, we have a list of things that we want to do in the app. There's so much. We're definitely gonna do a couple mode for the app where you could assign a player and you two kind of see your partner's pool history. And also we're thinking about having some real-time interactions where when you log a pool, maybe if your friend also log a pool and you two can match at that time instantly and able to play a mini game right away. We're thinking to have some magical moments where you and your friend were both on a toilet and you guys can have fun.
Honestly, that does make sense. If both players are simultaneously on the toilet, they are both available to play games on the toilet, and it might be a nice little respite from work.
I view toilet time as like a reflection time. It's very rare that in such a busy modern society, we're able to have a time to just sit somewhere looking blankly for like 2, 3 minutes. Even though we all have the internet and then the world involves so much, we still need to poo like all animals. Pooping is viewed as something that is disgusting, that we always wanted to hide from, but it's also magical. Poop also opens up a lot of conversation and brings people closer to each other.
I think toilets really are the last bastion of mindfulness, how you would describe the essence of Scarab.
The inspiration is from woman period, but then the application lands on all purpose.
So usually period tracking apps let you know when you might expect different phases might come up cycle-wise. Does your app as well predict when you might have your next poo based off of the available rhythm?
We're working on it. Yes.
Is there any parting message you'd like to get out to the world?
Tracker poo. It's a act of love. Tracker poo with your friends. It's a method of saying I love you to friends. That is a very private experience, and I hope everyone has a friend or partner who they feel comfortable sharing their poop with.
Do you think you could make a friend purely by sharing poops with them, like a pen pal, but for poop, like a poop pal? And could that potentially be a future update where maybe you match with someone, not like a dating way, but more like a friend abroad, and you just connect purely through text chat and poop updates?
Well, that would be weird.
But that would kind of shortcut the intimacy. You skip
Couple.
ahead and you just go to the poop part.
Yeah, that's I won't do it, but if anyone wanted to try, I would like to know how it works. Yeah.
Well, if anyone's out there, I'll share my personal poop code, and anyone can track my poops. You'll see it here first on Toilet Game Studies. All right. Well, thank you so much, Yolanda. I really appreciate your time. It's great having you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.